Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. So in this video, in today's video, I'll cover Keystone configuration installation on the controller node. So at first we need to know about Keystone. So Keystone represents the identity and authentication service for OpenStack. It will act as a security barrier for the entire cloud infrastructure. So with the Keystone, we'll be able to call and use the other services provided by Keystone. And also it must be installed on the controller node, and it will be the first component installed. So it will give us it will provide us by authentication. So it will verify user identities, and it will give tokens for service access, and it will manage credentials. It will give us the possibility to inspect the API endpoints, to inspect the services running on the OpenStack. So basically, Keystone will be responsible for authentication. So let's get started. So the first thing we need to do here is we need to create a Keystone database. So let's type MySQL, then create the database. Okay. Now we need to give privilege to database. So let's copy this among the documentation site. So we grant all privilege on Keystone, but we need to change the password here, password, and also we need to change here the password by password. Okay, can exit now. Now we'll move we'll install. We'll go into installation. We need to install Keystone. Yes. After that, we'll edit the keystone.conf. So let's edit keystone.conf. Search for database and copy paste Keystone, password, controller, and Keystone. Now we go to token and we add Fernet. Provider equal to Fernet. So using this line, we'll be able to populate databases, populate database. So let's do this. Then populate the identity service database. Now we need to initialize Fernet key repositories. So first thing to do, and now for the credential setup. Okay. Now we need to configure the bootstrap for the identity service. So let's copy paste all this. So I will put the documentation site from where I'm making the copy paste. So all we need to change here is the password here. Keystone manage bootstrap admin password. It will be password. Okay, so now we need to edit Apache file. It is Apache. We'll add the server name, which will be controller. Let's add it over here. Server name controller. Now let's restart service Apache. Start. And let's now set the proper environmental variables. Default. We'll only change the admin password over here. It will be password, username admin, password admin, default, and this will be the auth URL. Okay, all is good. Now we need to create a domain and project and user and finally a role. So let's go into, we need to continue here because we loaded the variables over here. So if we went to another terminal, we need to load again the variables. So let's continue here. We need to now create, let's copy paste. So this is how to create a domain, an example domain. Okay. Now we need to create the service project. So as you can see here, project create domain to be default. This is description and this is the name of the project. And also we're gonna create another project with my project name. So the same thing, but we changed the name and the description. My project. So this project will be for non-admin users. That's why we added another project. And now we need to create the user, my user, and by using password prompt, we'll now after we enter, we now add our passwords manually. So I type password, another password, all good. Now I'm gonna add the role, create my role, and I'm gonna add my role to my project, and my user, user. OpenStack role, add the project is my project, and for user it's my user, and the name of the role is my role as I specified the role here. Okay, now let's go into verification. So let's issue token for the admin. So let's understand this. So here you can see a token issue for for DOS username, which is admin, and DOS project, which is admin, and DOS user domain name, which is default, and also the domain name, the other OS project domain name default, and DOS auth URL, which is this URL. And if you remember, we specified all this here when we configured the bootstrap for the identity service. As you can see here, the variables are the same variables as in here. So we'll issue token for the admin user, and also we'll issue another token for my user. So my user represent the non-admin user. It has my project as project. As you can see here, for the project name, it has my project and default, and it has the same auth URL. This is for Keystone. So let's go now into all this work was done manually, but we need a script. So we'll go into creating a script to load the environment variables for the identity service. So what we need to do is we need to create an admin uh, OpenRC file, and we'll load these variables, the same variables that we loaded before, but now on each time we need to make authentication, we'll source this file to load the variable temporarily so we can use it and call other services as the admin user. So this is the concept. This is why we are doing this. We only need to change this into password, and all is good. Now let's add another file for the demo. It is demo OpenRC, and this file is for a non-admin user, and in our case here it is for my user. And let's copy paste this. So as you can see, default my project, my user. For password it is password controller. All is good now. So to load any to load the admin credentials, we only need to do like this. And if you and let's, for example, OpenStack token issue. So what will happen here? We are doing the same thing we did here. Same thing we did here. So instead of writing all these code, we only need to edit a file and then source that file so we can load the variables. And you can see the project ID FB3F, and here FB3F, and for the user ID 562 we'll have only 562. This is the admin, and this is admin project. Okay, now what we'll do, so now we have the keystone configured on the controller node, and as you can see here, why we did two files, and that's for loading the variables so we can make so we can give tokens to each user, so that user can use services and manipulate the OpenStack infrastructure. And as you can see here, as I explained before, this is why we need to automate the process of creating or giving tokens by adding those two files. So if you have another user, you simply add another file and load variables in it. Then you can load the files, so like this. This is for admin, and if we go for the my user wait sec, demo. So they have the same project domain name, default, but the project name here we have admin here, my project username, not the same, password the same, but the only thing here to change is the username and the project name, and if you have changed the password, of course you must change it over here. So this is it for Keystone, and in this video we covered how to install Keystone and how you can give tokens to specific users. And now let's move to the other component of OpenStack, which will be glance for the image and the placement too.